Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Jonesin 4 Show, your show that helps you live your life to the max. And today we have a special guest joining me and helping you live your life to the max, but also the people around you, your family. So, especially if you have kids, this episode is going to be amazing for you. But even if you don't, this episode is going to help you, help lift you up, raise you up, but give you the tools and strategies to really help you embrace life and be at your best. So let me introduce Amy Kraus to us. So welcome, Amy.
Thank you. Hi, Spencer.
Hi,
Hi, everybody.
I'm so excited to have you on and sharing your expertise with us. So, I know you. I've gotten to know you over the past couple months through our Positivity Challenge group and just the different groups and friends we have in common, which has been great to see you grow and build your own business. But for the people that don't know you, who are you? What do you do? And what are you all about?
Well, I always say I'm a mom first. So I'm a mom of twins. So they keep me hopping. I'm an educator. I'm a veteran educator for 20 years. So I've been in the business for a long time. Um, but but right now, right in this moment, I'm about building our kids up. So I'm a motivational speaker. I'm a youth empowerment coach. I go in and I sit with these kids and build their self-esteem, help them with their confidence, and at the same time, work with parents that are like, I don't know what else to say. I don't know what else to do. I need help. And that's a really, really big thing for us as adults to say, I need help. I don't know what else to do, both for our kids, but for ourselves, like finding that space of vulnerability to say, I need help. So my big mission is to step in front of every kid I can possibly get in front of and tell them, you are amazing just by being you. You don't need to be anybody else, just be you, and you will see amazing things happen for yourself.
What a
So
great
that's who I
mission
am.
and great
Mhm,
message to share with kids to help them with their self-esteem and let them know that
mhm,
they have value, they have worth, and they are great just the way they are. So a
mhm.
question I have for
Yeah.
you, we both have this in common. We're both veteran teachers. We both taught and we were both in the school system, and now we're both doing our own business, which is great. I love that parallel between us. They
Mhm,
know my story, but how about you? What's your story? Why did you go from an awesome career in education, I'm assuming awesome career in education, to
mhm.
now being an entrepreneur and being a empowerment coach? How did that transition happen for you? What caused it?
Well, it really transitioned over the past probably 2 years. I was the past 3 years, I was teaching. I was a reading specialist, so I was teaching in small groups. I was pulling kids out, I was working with them, and I kept seeing over my entire career the same thing. I worked with kids who didn't know where they were sleeping that night to kids who had everything under the sun, and the same thing kept coming up. They did not feel like they were heard. They did not feel like they could be who they were, because of, be it stressors at home, it was trying to fit in. We hear that so often, especially when we're in the school system, to fit in. We just, kids want to fit in. But what I kept telling and what I kept teaching with, instead of trying to fit in, why don't you try to stand out? For me, I decided, COVID hit last year, and I was in a place where I was kind of like, you know what, there's more for me to do. There's more out there that I want to be doing. And, and I have so many teacher friends, and they're like, yeah, you did the right thing. Not because it was COVID, but because there was a transition time. There was a time to create more, that when you're in the school system, you're in a box and you can only do so much
Right.
that you're allowed to do, without, I don't want to say ruffling feathers, but that, there's a standard, there's a way that you have to do things. And I felt very boxed in. So for me, I wanted to be able to create a program where kids could go and say, hey, I need help. Can you give me some guidance? I wanted parents to be able to have a space where they could sit with other parents and feel like they could be open and honest and vulnerable. Working in a classroom seven, 8 hours out of the day, we couldn't find that connection with kids. You know, there were expectations we had to get through. You have to get through this curriculum and you have to do this, this, and this. And our kids became numbers, not individuals. So I wanted to walk out and find a way to show them they're individuals, not just numbers.
I love that. Break through that system that has helped you grow and become better and then
Hmm.
influence and impact kids to now impacting even more people, which is
Hmm.
so huge. So I'm
Yeah,
going to throw
yeah,
you a question.
absolutely.
What was that? I'm sorry. Okay.
Oh,
Sorry
nope,
about that.
nope,
So,
you're good. And I was that kid. So
right. And
yeah.
I totally get that. So I have a question for you that might be a little curveball. Maybe we'll see. So in today's culture, I know when I was teaching, I heard a lot from other teachers. Heck, even I thought it at points and thought I saw it. Entitlement seems to be running rampant with our kids. They feel entitled to this, that, the other thing. Well, it should be instant gratification, which probably more of the times in internet and a lot of things like that. But how does that seem like? I look at kids and go, oh, they don't need any self-esteem help. Just if I look generally at kids, like they don't need any self-esteem. They feel entitled. They feel that they earn this or they have it regardless of whether they did anything for it or not. But how have you seen that affect kids with their self-esteem? Because I imagine they're closely tied to each other.
Yeah, I think a lot of times kids think, well, if I have all of this, I'm going to feel this. I'm going to feel better about myself. And I think even as adults, we sometimes feel that if I have everything I could ever want, I'm going to feel amazing about myself. People are going to look at me and I'm going to be this amazing person that people look up to because I have everything. So I think sometimes kids get skewed with that. They think, well, if I have these, $300 pair of shoes or, whatever it is, that I'm going to fit in.
Mhm.
I'm going to be popular. I'm not going to be the one on the outside. So I think for kids, there's this misconception that if I have these fancy shoes or the latest phone, I'm going to be accepted. And what I want to teach kids about is accepting themselves, not feeling necessarily accepted by everybody else, but accepting themselves for not the shoes on their feet, not the latest cell phone that they have in their pocket, but the gifts that they have internally and how they can go out and share those gifts with everybody else. So yeah, I definitely, it's definitely, entitlement is definitely connected with self-esteem on a huge level. And unfortunately, a lot of times they're at the tip of their fingers. You can go on Amazon and order this, that, and the other thing. And while technology is a wonderful thing, it connects people on such an amazing level. We have to kind of, as parents, dial back and go, is this serving my child in a way that is going to allow them to be who they are?
And I think that's huge for kids, but also adults, as you said, because we
Hmm.
want to. So many of us think we'll find joy, that we'll find happiness in outside side things, right? Products we buy. Oh, if we have this car, if we have this house, if we have that cell phone, shoes, or whatever it is. Adults and kids are very similar in that sense, where we want to fill that void of happiness and joy that we think we're have this void of happiness and joy in our life with stuff, and it
Hmm.
doesn't work like that. You could ask, maybe you've all heard this before, but you could ask a millionaire if they're happy, and they'll say no. But you could ask a poor person, and they say yes. Right? It's so much more than stuff. It's that mindset that you have. It's
Yeah.
learning to love yourself, and I love that you're
Hmm.
teaching that to kids so they get started with it at a younger age than us adults who didn't know this and had to learn it the harder way, or at least learn it as adults.
Yeah.
So so
Yeah.
let's pivot into that conversation. And what are some tips or strategies you can offer kids and adults alike to help them learn to love themselves and learn to accept themselves for who they are?
So a big part of what I do for kids or for parents and for kids is a lot of times I'll have parents that'll come to me and go, oh, well, she won't stop doing this, or She won't have these meltdowns. She constantly have these meltdowns and I'm doing something wrong.
Mm.
What I would say is there is a why behind the behavior. There is a why behind every behavior, both adult and kid, why they're doing it. You know, I have two children and I have my daughter who was having meltdowns after meltdown up until probably 2 years ago. And I kept saying, something's wrong with me as a parent. It's not about you, it's about them and what they're struggling with. It's about finding out where they need you so you can help them. So I always say, think about that. Think about behavior as it's a communication that they don't know how else to express it. Have they been limited in being allowed to express it? Are you giving your child a chance to say, hey, mom, I'm really upset right now? And, or is the only way they know how to communicate is by throwing themselves on the floor and kicking and screaming to get your attention. Maybe it's something as simple as they didn't sleep 8 hours, 9 hours. Maybe it's something as simple as they didn't have breakfast that morning. And we've seen it as educators. We've seen it time and again. Kids that are not able to concentrate in school, kids that are acting out. I say acting out. It's not acting out. It's a behavior. It's a cry for help. They didn't have breakfast that morning. They didn't sleep well. They got into a fight with mom at home. So we had to look at all those different aspects. And I really, as a parent, had to look at that for my own child. And I had to go, okay, did she have breakfast this morning? Is she hungry? Is she tired? Does she just need a hug? You know, so many times we're on this hamster wheel of I have to get this done and this done and this done. I have to get the homework done. Stop. Take a step back. Hug your kid. Hug your kid. I tell people that all the time. Just give them a hug. That may be all they need to come down from that higher level that they're having trouble with. As far as kids, what I do is a lot of mindset work. And I know you've seen this before, but we've done like the I am statements, which are huge. Again, I'll have them sit down, and what I do is I have them take a piece of paper and I'll have them write 2 columns. One column will say everything positive that they can think of about themselves. On the other side, it's all the negative. I have them rip the paper in half, throw the negative away, and look at the positive. Look at the positive. And then they make it an I am statement. I am bold. I am strong. And then what I have them do is we put it on big, huge poster paper. They get a piece of paper, they put it on, and they put it in their bedroom or somewhere that they can see it every single day. I have one in my bedroom. My kids have one in their bedroom. You see that, and it starts to stick in their head. Yeah, I am strong. I am bold. I am confident. And I think as we start to, I don't want to say program, but as you start to see them continuously noticing, yes, I am that. I am that positivity. You know, they keep continuously seeing it, then they start to feel it. And a lot of times for kids, they need an outlet to express that positivity. They need, you know, that anger. Give them a space to do it in. A lot of times we don't give people a space even as adults to get angry in a productive and positive way. So yeah, a lot of what I do is mindset work. You know, just giving them ways that they can go out within school to be a positive. I do, you know, what I call stand up, stand out, be you. So they stand up for who they are, but they also stand up for other people when they see that other people not being treated kindly. You know, so they're standing up for others, but they're also standing up for themselves. They're standing out by being their own individual person, and they're being themselves. And it's about learning to love yourself. As adults, I think sometimes we got so programmed as young people that you sit in school, you sit in your desk, you do what you're told. Kids, I know for me, it was kids are to be, you know, seen, not heard, you know, one of those kind of things. So, but it's okay to be heard. It's okay to stand up for yourself and speak out. So that's a lot of what I do is just listening, I think is huge. Because as adults, we're just like, do this, do that, do this. No, step back and listen, actively listen to them.
That's such a huge thing. I mean, actively listen, and we'll get to that in a second. I just want to recap real quick and then break it down, just so people can make sure they got it all and follow along. So the first step really is knowing that that behavior, that attitude, that feeling, that emotion that that your kids or even you are expressing, it's caused by something, and try to figure out what that cause is. Whether you didn't eat right,
Mhm.
you didn't get enough sleep, you had a fight with someone, wherever that uh, emotion is coming from, we have to find the cause for or work to find that cause of.
Hey, I'm really sorry to butt in like this, but I know you're gonna love this, and I'm too excited to not share it with you right now. And that is Spencer's Energy Hub. Yeah, that's right, Spencer's Energy Hub. It is a community. It's the Jonesin 4 community. You're listening to the Jonesin 4 show or watching it, right? And now there's a community designed for you to have success. We want you to live your life to the max, and we can help you. We can help you do that through the tips, techniques, and strategies we share in this show, but also within this Energy Hub. So, what is it? Well, it is a membership crew that's a family, right? We are a community who are there to support you, be in your corner when times get tough and when times are awesome. But there's more. You get weekly trainings. You get help, strategies, and ways to help you actually implement what you learn to have success so you can live your life to the max. Oh, and there's monthly interviews with experts and masters in their field sharing their knowledge with all of you so you can really take it, implement it, and have success in your life and go up that mountain faster and better than you could have before. You're here now, which is awesome. Now, take it to the next level and join us at Spencer's Energy Hub. Go there and find out what it all entails and all that and sign up to join. Just go to spencersenergyhub.com or spencermjones.com. You can find it there and click on it and make sure you check it out and join us in the hub. Can't wait to see you inside.
And then to help
Exactly.
to help process after that, you go to the I am statements. And this works for adults too, just as much as kids.
Mhm.
They're affirmations is what they are. And I love the idea that you have of writing the positives. I am whatever positives on one side and I am negatives on the other side. And I remember I had an activity like this when I was teaching choir for my women's choir. They were feuding with each other like nothing else, like high school girls can do. And it was hard. We couldn't even get through a rehearsal because there was just so much bickering going on. So what I did is I had them write down their thoughts, their negative emotions, feelings, all that, and then I had them crumple up on a piece of paper and throw it away, and saying, "Well, now you're throwing those emotions away. You're throwing those thoughts and feelings away." And it, just looking at it from the outside or evaluating, well, that seems silly, but I'm telling you, it changed the dynamic for that choir for the rest of the
Mhm.
semester and year. Heck, they even
Yeah.
talked about it a year later when they said, "Oh, remember when we did that? Could we do that again? Because I'm feeling this way."
Mm.
Like mind blowing
Oh,
for me. And now for kids to do it or adults to do it for themselves. I am
yeah.
positive. I am negative. You rip off because there's something just feeling great about ripping paper anyway. You rip the
Mhm.
paper, you crumple it up, you throw it away in the trash, or you burn it or whatever. Safely
Mhm.
burn it, and then
Mhm.
it's
Yeah.
gone. I don't need that anymore in my life. I have these positives, and it's so empowering for your kids, your students,
Mhm.
and yourself when you do that. So that's a great way to get into those affirmations. And just in regard, you said, well, you didn't say programming, but really what you're doing, in my opinion, is it's those affirmations. It's saying, I am seeing the positives. I'm looking for the gratitudes. And
Mhm.
there is an abundance of research out there that show that you start looking for the positives, you start seeing more positives. You start
Yep.
doing the affirmations, saying the affirmations, then they start becoming, you start to actualize them and realize them. Look at Dr. Joe Dispenza's work and his books. That research alone can really help justify that aspect. So, no, you're totally right. You're programming your brain, you're rewiring your brain to find the
Yeah.
positives, find the belief in yourself. And it takes time, but totally worth it.
Mhm.
So you do
Yeah.
the I am statements, you're rewiring your brain, looking for the positives. And I got so excited there. I lost that third topic off the top of my head. Being able to express yourself, giving yourself space to express yourself is huge. That's a third step ish in this, right? So
Yeah.
you're identifying what the cause, you're giving yourself I am statements, and you're allowing yourself a safe area to express those emotions, right? If you're mad at your boss, well, you probably don't want to go to your boss and shout at them, or your teacher or
Right.
parent and just shout at them. But you
Right.
can find a safe place to let out that anger, right? I know people
Yeah.
have talked about like writing a letter and then just never sending it or throwing it away. Again, with the throwing away emotions aspect of it, right? But getting your
Yeah.
emotions out some way, shape, or form is huge.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. And it's stay not staying in that space of those emotions, that anger, that fear, whatever it may be. It's acknowledging the emotion
Mm.
and letting it go. And that's hard. That is really hard, even as adults, to be like, yes, I'm frustrated with my boss right now. I'm going to feel it. I'm going to stay in this space for a second, but then I'm going to let it go. I have, for your own self, not for your boss, not for your coworkers, but for yourself. Because if you stay in that space of anger the rest of your day, the rest of your week, ever so ongoing, is going to be miserable. And who wants to stay in that space of anger? Nobody wants to stay in that space of anger. What good is it? How is it honoring you to stay in that space of anger? So I would say, like Elsa says, let it go. Just let that go. And at the same time, I would also say, when you're dealing with, maybe it's a boss that you're frustrated with, if you don't know what that person's dealing with, they may have had a fight with their wife that morning, or maybe they are getting ready to get their job is getting ready to get cut. You don't know what the other person is dealing with. So I think empathy is huge to also keep in your repertoire, like empathizing with other people, not getting walked on, but empathizing with other people is huge. Um, and that's also something that I also talk with kids about, like kind of put yourself in your classmates' shoes and see how they're feeling. And how would you feel if you were in that space?
That's such a great thing to teach kids and people alike, right? To be empathetic. And we struggle with it. You hear as kids, at least I heard a lot as a kid, walk a mile in their shoes before you judge or whatever. And I go, what the heck does that mean? Like, seriously, I don't even know. And because it just wasn't explained to me in the right way, or maybe it was, and it just didn't sink in. And really what that saying is, and what you said is, what are they going through? Like, we don't know. We have no idea what's going on in that other person's life that's causing them to express their emotions, to act that way, to do this action. We have no clue, right? They could be losing their job, as you said. They could have had a fight. They might have had a really crappy cup of coffee that's made them upset. I mean, who knows? It could be anything.
Exactly.
And and we as humans need to work at letting those things that happen to us, to accept them and to roll them off our back and not let them affect how we interact in our communication with other people, right? We have to work at not letting that happen, but it's hard. It's really hard. And kids struggle with it even more because they're learning, they're growing, and they're learning how to have that control over their emotions, to go, okay, I had a fight with my mom, but I know that doesn't affect my learning right here with this teacher or with whoever. But I mean, it does affect at a cellular level, it does affect, but they can learn to control it so that they can do the best that they can. But kids are still learning it, and adults still need to learn it. And it's just being empathetic, being understanding, going, okay, I don't know what they're going through. I'm going to give them grace. I'm going to give myself grace. And we're just going to do the best we can to have this conversation, to have this interaction, and know that it's going to be okay. I think about it this way. I remember my mom, I did something stupid or wrong or whatever. I don't know what I was, but she was yelling at me, just hardcore yelling at me, right? And all of a sudden the phone rings. She yell, phone rings. Hello? Just all super nice. And you're going, what a flip of a switch is this? Like, I don't understand. But she was able to detach her anger from me to the phone call, whether it's just camouflage or not, I don't know. But it's the same idea, right? You don't need to let one situation affect others. So being empathetic.
Yeah. And I think too, as adults, that is really hard because, we want to go, yes, we understand, but why do they have to keep doing that, type of thing. So there's that inner struggle. But like you said, give yourself grace. That is the first thing that I tell parents. And it is so true. And I've had to tell myself that. I mean, we have to tell ourselves, give yourself grace. I go through the day and I'm like, okay, I got to get this done, this done, this done. And when I don't get it done, I'm like, oh man, I can't, what is wrong with me? I can't believe I get it done. Whoa, wait a minute. It's okay that I didn't get it done. I told the story of, you know, as a mom, I'm like, okay, I've got to get the laundry done and I've got to do this and that, I have to get dinner made. Oh, guess what? The laundry will be there tomorrow. So if you didn't get it done today, it's okay. And I had a parent say to me, well, but my kids need clothes. And I'm like, I get that your kids need clothes, but don't make it your primary focus to immediately go, oh my gosh, I'm so stupid, I can't get this done. And I think a lot of what I tell parents is you are a role model for your child. So if you're telling yourself, oh, I'm stupid, oh, I can't believe I did that, they are hearing that. They're going to start programming it into their head that, oh, well, mom thinks she's stupid. Well, if I do that, I'm going to be stupid. They hear those words of, whatever it is, fat, stupid, whatever it is. And we do it and we don't think about it like, oh, I can't believe how stupid I was to do that. I mean, if you step back and you look at it and you go, no, I made a mistake. I made a mistake. Let's change the language. A lot of what I talk with parents is changing the language that you use to make it more positive. Yes, you made a mistake and you own that mistake. And kids start to go, yeah, it's okay to make a mistake. I think at least for me, I grew up where, oh, you made a mistake. Oh my gosh, that's terrible. You're not going to be loved. That was what I thought of here. And I would guarantee you there are kids out there that probably feel this thing, that perfection syndrome of, oh, I have to do it exactly right, or I have to do it exactly a certain way, or I'm not going to be loved. I mean, how, just as an adult, you're hearing that and you go, no, oh my gosh, I can't believe that a kid would ever think that way. But they do. I mean, how many times have you sat with a kid and you go, oh, why didn't you get this done? I can't believe you didn't get your homework done. I can't believe, how many times as parents have we said that? And they go, oh, mommy's mad at me because I didn't do it the right way, or I didn't. Well, did you stop to think maybe they didn't understand it? Or maybe the teacher didn't explain it in a way that worked for them? We have to, as parents, as adults, we need to step back and I would say take a breath. And I know you talk a lot about breath work, taking that step back and taking a deep breath. I cannot tell you how much in this past year breath work has been so crucial to me, just to help bring the stress down, help bring those emotions down into a place where you feel like you can step into that positivity. You can step into giving yourself grace. It's huge. I teach it to my own kids. I think it's an amazing thing to have.
I love that. I love that you reference breath work and letting yourself
Mhm.
calm down, right? Reducing the stress, the heightened emotions at the time, and just
Mhm.
coming back to your breath, coming back to the present moment is so huge just to be able to release that stress, release that frustration so you can focus on the real issue with it. And it's one thing,
Exactly.
I hear a lot of people talk about, but a big thing is the 5 second rule. If you ever get a chance to read that book
Mhm.
by Mel Robbins, I believe, uh,
Yep.
absolutely amazing. And it's that same
Mhm.
idea. Basically, you
Yep.
count down from 5, and by then, and she goes through like the whole science behind it. But by then, you can stay focused on it. You're not as heightened emotionally about it, so you can actually deal with it, whatever it is at that moment in time, just by concentrating, counting down from 5. Breath work is the same thing. You concentrate on your breath, your inhale, your exhale once or twice, 3 times. Boom, you can then focus on whatever it is in a much more relaxed, calmer state. And I love that you're
Yeah.
teaching that to kids and adults and telling yourself that. I tell myself that. right? Something happens, for example, when we were going to do this recording, something happened in my day and I had to move it later. Thankfully, you're able to adjust. And so I had to breathe. And it's like, it's okay. It's not the end of the day, right? It's not, we have to adjust schedules. Even if we had to reschedule totally, that would be okay, right? It's not the end of the world. And know that that happens to everyone. And we all need these reminders in our day and reminders for ourselves to stay calm and relaxed, because that's how we can I don't want to say control the emotions, because I mean, we want to express and feel the emotions, but we're able to use them to our advantage and deal with them properly so that we're not impacting and influencing other people in a negative way.
Yeah, exactly. And I tell people, don't react for the sake of reacting. You know, don't react. You know, Susie throws herself on the floor. You immediately don't want to react, because what's going to be your reaction? Stop doing that. Why are you doing that? No, step back, take a breath.
Right.
And then, you know, that gives you the opportunity to handle the situation in a way that's effective, first of all, because you yelling and screaming at Susie is not effective for anybody.
Right.
You know, so you can effectively handle the situation once you've taken a step back, you've taken those few deep breaths, and you can come from a place of, how can I help? That's huge.
The only thing I would add for myself, because I totally agree with you, is that it's always a work in progress. That you're not going to get it right off the bat or all the time, right? Some days are going to be better than others. Like as you're saying, you know, talking about Susie when she falls on the floor, and I'm going, oh, I really need to do that better with. I don't have kids, but I have dogs and cats. So like when my dogs are barking hysterically, I go, okay, I stop and breathe, but then I don't like figure out, okay, why are they barking, or how can I do this properly? I just let that anger build up. Then it's just me blowing up later on, right? And that doesn't serve anyone. I mean, me or the dogs or my wife who has to listen to me yell. I mean, it just doesn't serve. So it's always a work in progress. And I appreciate you bringing that up, because now I go, okay, I need to focus on that more and really bring that in, and that'll make everyone's lives happier, and dogs included. So just know that it's always a work in progress. There's good days, there's bad days with everything.
Absolutely. Yeah, and we're human. I mean, that's what happens. You know, some days we are able to, you know, not react for the sake of reacting, and some days we're just ready to just kind of, you know, lose it.
Right.
But again, it comes back to giving yourself grace that you're learning and you're growing.
Exactly. Always. You're saying all the things that people, if they've listened to my show religiously, you've heard me say all those things before. Give yourself grace. You're human. Learn and grow from every opportunity, right? There's so much learning and growing that happens in our life. We just need to embrace it, and you can be so much better because of it, and you can impact and change people's lives more when you do that.
Yeah, exactly.
So as we wrap up this episode here, and you sharing your amazing expertise with us, do you have any last tip or strategy we can do to really help our kids and ourselves love who we are?
I think honestly, the biggest thing is be afraid to fail. But when you know, I always tell kids, they're like, oh, I'm afraid I'm going to fail. I'm afraid I'm going to mess this up. Okay. What's going to happen if you mess up? Is the world going to end? I do that with my own kids. My kids will go, oh, I can't get this math problem right. And I'm like, okay, is the world going to end that I don't know about? You're learning. It's okay. It's okay to make a mistake. Even as parents, you know, parents are, oh no, I have to do this exactly a certain way. Okay, well, is your child fed? That's a big thing. Is your child fed? You know, give your child the love. That's what they want. They want your love. They want to be loved. Adults, we want to be loved. But it has to start with you. It has to start with you loving yourself first. So the biggest thing I would just say is to continue to remind yourself that you are amazing just the way you are. Just the way you are.
I love it. Bringing it back to Mr. Rogers, one of my favorite people in the entire world. Such an influence and impact on my life of, I love you just the way you are.
Exactly.
And you need to do that for yourself too.
Absolutely.
awesome way to end this episode. Where can people learn more about you, what you're doing for kids and parents, and how can they connect with you too so you can work with them and help them with their kids and themselves?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm on all the social media platforms. So if you go to Instagram, you'll see all the information that all the programs I'm doing in my Instagram bio. So my Instagram is Amy the Motivational Mom. They can check it out. I got all of my, I have a Facebook page. I've got a website that they can check out. It's all listed on Instagram. They can connect with me on Facebook. Yeah, I'm everywhere. So, but I do private coaching. I do motivational speaking, which I absolutely love doing with schools, committing to that, building them up instead of tearing each other down. That's a big thing. And so, yeah, just getting out there and connecting with people and connecting with kids.
I love it. So folks, get in touch with her, whether it's for your families, you and your kids, or maybe a school or a program that that works with kids, right? Doesn't matter what it is. People and kids need to be loved and know that they care about. So whatever the program is, bring her in and have her help you and the kids and students or whoever know that they can love themselves and that's okay for being who they are. And we'll put all the links, all that good stuff in our show notes. You can find those at spencermjones.com. Just find the show, Jones and Forrest Show, click on this episode, and you can see all of the show notes from this, but also get her link so you can contact her and work with Amy because she's awesome. This has been fantastic.
Thanks, Spencer. I appreciate it.
I appreciate you and everyone watching and listening. Thank you so much. If you like this episode, let us know. Hit like, subscribe, and share this out on Facebook or Instagram. Share it out on social media. Tag both of us in it. Let us know what your thoughts were. And there you go, folks. Thank you so much for joining us. Until next time, we'll catch you all later.